Imagine this. You're cruising at 30,000 feet, the world below a distant memory. The hum of the engines is a lullaby, a soothing constant. Suddenly, a scream pierces the calm. A man, eyes wild with fear, lunges for the cockpit door. This isn't a movie. This is real life. This was the terrifying reality on Southwest Airlines Flight 1763, August 9th, 2000. A routine flight from Las Vegas to Salt Lake City, a journey that should have been uneventful. On board, 19-year-old Jonathan Burton, seemingly ordinary, carried a dark secret, hidden from the world. Something snapped during the flight, a switch flipped in his mind. His behavior, a terrifying descent into chaos, left everyone in shock. Passengers, moments before enjoying their snacks, were thrust into a nightmare, their peace shattered. The flight attendants, trained for emergencies, faced a situation unlike any other, their training put to the ultimate test. This is the story of Flight 1763, a story of fear, confusion, and the struggle for survival, a day that would be remembered forever. Jonathan Burton, a young man with his whole life ahead of him. He was full of dreams and aspirations, ready to take on the world. What led him to that fateful day? What could have caused such a drastic change in his demeanor? His mother, who saw him off at the airport, described him as normal. No signs of distress. He was excited about his trip. He even carried a new book on blackjack, eager to try his luck in Vegas. It seemed like a typical journey, but something changed at 30,000 feet. The altitude, the isolation, something triggered a shift. Witnesses say Burton became agitated, pacing the aisle, muttering to himself. His behavior was becoming increasingly erratic. He grabbed a drink, his anxiety growing. Then, a switch flipped. His calm demeanor was replaced by panic. He started rummaging through overhead compartments, his actions becoming increasingly erratic. It was as if he was searching for something. Passengers, sensing something was wrong, exchanged uneasy glances. The tension in the cabin was palpable. The flight attendants, trained to de-escalate, approached Burton cautiously. They tried to calm him down, but their words fell on deaf ears. Burton was beyond reach, lost in his own world. Jonathan Burton was slipping away, and the plane was his battleground. His descent into chaos was unstoppable. "I can fly this plane," Burton roared, his voice echoing through the cabin. The chilling declaration sent a collective shiver down the spines of everyone on board. He lunged towards the cockpit door, his intention clear: to breach the cockpit, to seize control. Panic erupted. Passengers screamed, clutching loved ones. The flight attendants, their training kicking in, rushed to stop Burton. He was strong, fueled by whatever had taken hold of him, making him a formidable opponent. A group of passengers, realizing the gravity of the situation, rose to assist the crew, fear mixed with adrenaline. They had to stop him. The fate of everyone on board rested on their actions. The narrow aisle became a battleground. Burton, thrashing wildly, fought against the passengers trying to restrain him. The scene, described by some as pure chaos, was a blur of movement and noise. Punches were thrown, bodies collided. The oxygen mask, dangling from above, swung violently, a macabre reminder of the danger they were in. The struggle was desperate, fueled by fear and the instinct to survive. Some passengers, unable to watch, buried their faces in their hands. Others, spurred on by a primal need to protect themselves and their loved ones, joined the fray. The air crackled with tension, the smell of sweat and fear permeating the cabin. Section 5. A struggle for control. Minutes stretched into an eternity. The struggle for control raged on. Burton, despite the valiant efforts of the passengers and crew, wouldn't be subdued. He continued to fight, his strength seemingly inexhaustible. Finally, with a surge of collective effort, they managed to overpower him. They used whatever they could find, seatbelts, luggage straps, to restrain his arms and legs. He lay on the floor, breathing heavily, his eyes still filled with a terrifying light. The passengers, exhausted and shaken, returned to their seats. A heavy silence fell over the cabin, punctuated by the sound of ragged breathing. They had survived the ordeal, but the trauma of those terrifying moments would linger. Section 6. Silence after the storm. The plane, no longer a place of peace, was filled with an eerie calm. The once bustling cabin, filled with chatter and laughter, now felt like a ghostly echo of its former self. The silence after the storm was deafening. It was as if the very air had been sucked out, leaving behind a vacuum of quiet. Passengers, still in shock, stared blankly ahead, their faces pale and drawn. The trauma of the recent events was etched deeply into their expressions. The flight attendants, their uniforms torn, tended to the injured. They moved with a sense of urgency, yet their faces betrayed the exhaustion and fear they felt. Bruises, cuts, and black eyes served as grim reminders of the struggle. Each injury told a story of survival and resilience. But amidst the pain and fear, there was a sense of relief. They were alive. The passengers clung to each other, finding solace in shared survival. The pilots, alerted to the situation, had already diverted the plane. Their calm and composed demeanor was a beacon of hope for everyone on board. They were heading back to Las Vegas, the city of lights, now a beacon of safety. The familiar glow of the city brought a sense of comfort and anticipation. As the plane descended, the weight of what had transpired settled upon them. The reality of their ordeal was sinking in, moment by moment. It was a sobering reminder of the fragility of life. Each passenger, lost in their thoughts, reflected on the narrow escape and the preciousness of every breath. Section 7. A life lost, questions remain. Upon landing, paramedics rushed on board. Their mission to tend to the injured and assess the subdued Jonathan Burton, but their efforts were in vain. Burton, the troubled young man who had terrorized a plane full of people, was gone. He was pronounced dead at the hospital. The cause of death, asphyxiation. The chaos, the struggle had resulted in a life lost. It was a tragedy, but how did it happen? Who was responsible? The investigation began immediately. Toxicology reports revealed traces of cannabis and cocaine in Burton's system, but not enough to explain his behavior. The question remained, what drove him to that breaking point? The answer, lost with Burton, would forever remain a mystery. Section 8. The Aftermath and Investigation. The FBI, taking over the investigation, scoured the wreckage of the flight. The torn seatbelts, the scattered belongings, the chilling testimonies. They analyzed the cockpit voice recorder, hoping to find answers in the chaos. Passengers and crew, hailed as heroes for their bravery, were left to grapple with the trauma. The incident became a stark reminder of the vulnerability of air travel, the ever-present possibility of something going terribly wrong. No charges were filed against the passengers who restrained Burton. It was determined to be an act of self-defense, a desperate attempt to prevent a greater tragedy, but the debate raged on. Was it a case of excessive force, or were they justified in their actions? Nata. Section 9. Air Rage. A continuing threat? The incident on Flight 1763 brought the issue of air rage to the forefront. What drives individuals to commit acts of violence at 30,000 feet? Is it a result of stress, anxiety, or something more sinister? The aviation industry grappled with how to prevent such incidents. Increased security measures, stricter passenger screening, and better training for crew members were implemented. But the fear remained. The story of Flight 1763 serves as a chilling reminder that even in the confined space of an airplane, danger can lurk. It's a reminder to be vigilant, to be aware of our surroundings, and to never underestimate the unpredictable nature of human behavior.